Many people think that we went underground because we had to go underground, because we were fugitives, and there's some truth in that. But we also went underground because we believed in the necessity for building an underground. This was a move that was offensive, that wasn't simply a defensive move. And we feel like this is a very important thing to say, because most people think of underground as
like being forced
underground, hiding, and we're constantly, exactly.
We think of building an underground organization, building an underground movement. In that way, we don't think of it as particularly defensive action, but think of it as a base to study, a base to think, a base to survive, a base from which to fight, not just in the early stages where the fighting is small and selective, but along the way as it develops and grows, and as the fight becomes a really massive social upheaval.
We're a group of people who are committed to each other on a certain level. We're committed to studying with each other, to arguing about what's right and what's wrong, about deciding as a whole what to do, and then going forward and carrying it out. That's the only way we can find out whether or not what we've decided is right or wrong. And in that's the contribution that we have to make, and that the revolutionary movement as a whole has to make to the people in this country.
We all were produced by massive social situations. Our revolutionary consciousness was a result of growing up in the age of the atomic bomb, by growing up in the 60s. We are who we are because Malcolm X was around teaching, or Rap Brown. We're trying to draw out our own particularity, and yet we feel completely tied into the particularity of all these other struggles. That's the kind of web we're trying to spin. My name is Kathy Wilkerson. My political history began in 1962. I went to a picket line outside of Woolworths in Cambridge, Maryland, and heard Gloria Richardson speak. And for me, that was the beginning of realizing there was a struggle going on that had deep importance for everybody's life, and including mine. But I was still somewhat of a spectator until '64, when I went on a picket line against segregated schools in Chester, Pennsylvania, and was arrested for the first time and found out that even the jails were segregated.
I say violence is necessary. Violence is a part of American culture. It is as American as cherry pie. American taught the black people to be violent. We will use that violence to rid ourselves of oppression if necessary. We will be free by any means necessary.
I remember really distinctly the day that I walked down a hall at school, and there was a poster on the bulletin board, and it was a leaflet that had been put out by a black community group in Chester, Pennsylvania, that was fighting for integrating the schools. The word around was that people were going to be arrested, and I remember standing and staring at that leaflet and knowing absolutely that this was the time when I had to make a decision in my life. If I got arrested, I knew what the consequences were.
Just as well. Thinking through the stinking is not thinking a lot. Reach into your jeans and see what you got. Tuesday night is just alright. I'm nauseous, but I'm happy. Tuesday night is just alright. Close your eyes and realize this is it. Is it what you imagined? The walls are dead and peeling, they don't watch the door. I used to fetishize the girls, now I fetishize the floor. The carpet's tiny razors, bits of glass and bone. Sleeping is an option if you can get alone. Tuesday night is just alright, I'm nauseous, but I'm happy. Tuesday night is just alright. A story told in 6 parts, running with a baby cart. When you stand at the crossroads of hell, there's no need to tell. Sleep is just a state of mind. We are dying all the time. Long ago, a choice was made to live for the grave. Everything is quiet out in the country. It's the sound of passing time. Silence isn't conservation, it's a respectful tone. When it's reciprocated, there's nothing anymore. The Buddhist kills his master, this is not aggression. And the light to mortality transcend the clouds of one. To truly honor him, you must attempt on his life. He's waiting for a sign.
messages on your machine. Even your name is sounding obscene. It's all I can do to keep to myself when I sit next to you. Deep in the valley, I feel afraid. We look like junkies in a raid. We hate the mocha, we hate art. We'll be apart. An empty whiskey bottle helps to see us through. to the Santa Monica Pier. I half expected to see you sitting there. I walked all around for almost 2 hours, meeting for drinks on my trip to LA. I already feel like it's a mistake. You're astute in your judgment. We're both too sentimental. I hate to see you sad in my favorite dress, but next time that you wear it, it'll be for someone else. Now I know why you will go. You're the star of the show.
Listen with your ears, there is an outside chance that you will hear. If everything goes as planned, as it always can with an improvising man, tonight you will see the light. I know it sounds trite, but it is alright. A personal experience you cannot explain at the ceremony hall. Everything just changed, and you can't possibly understand. Tonight you will see the light. 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 Tonight you will see the light.
My name is Bernadine Dorn. One of the first political things I remember growing up is watching the Army McCarthy hearings on television, watching my mother ironing day after day and watching these hearings. My parents were Midwest Republicans. They voted for Joe McCarthy. And it wasn't until 8 years later that these ideas began to be really challenged for me. But I knew that taking the first step would change my life. And I hesitated for a long time. The first demonstration I took part in was an anti-HUAC demonstration. And then increasingly I became involved in organizing work in Chicago and joined the open housing drives for equal housing rights that took place on the west side of Chicago in 1966.
And the whole armor of God, and we're going to march over this city.
Black people of Chicago demonstrated day after day and weekend after weekend by marching into neighborhoods that they were not allowed to live in all over Chicago. And what they elicited from these marches was the kind of blatant, open, violent racism that you see today in Boston, in any city in the United States. And by this time I was a law student, and I joined the National Lawyers Guild. At the height of the student movement, I joined SDS. This was long after I was a student myself. I was elected national officer of SDS and had the opportunity of meeting with the Vietnamese and the Cubans. This experience in particular made me a full-time revolutionary and really changed my own idea of myself and what the revolution was going to be.
$2 a pint. I went home broke but barely alive. A greasy order of fries for my unintentional appetite. Against my better judgment, I went to the gig and loved it. Psychic tractor beams drove me home. You know how these things get done. And not everybody does that. Can't prevent what's alive, but only for a limited time. The collated lines, the Roxy opens at any time. When I finally heard it, it never sounded so perfect. I can't stand what you do, but I'm in love with your eyes. But I did think that when I saw you, it doesn't mean I'd die for you. I call you, you call me. I ask you, why ask me? You drive me quite crazy. What is this? You tell me. We went through Saturday. Not everybody did that, 'cause you made it Saturday. Ooh, and I shan't forget you. Her birds fly off in instinct. Some things don't need thinking. Men all speak like seminars. Dialogue impossible. The stars now sing for Lily and bring out her twin sister. The stars speak to everyone as they look down on Earth. They're a vocal audience. A vocal audience making sweet collages for a sad and lonely dog who only now believes the truth. Who believes the truth? Who believes the truth? Who believes the truth? Who believes the truth?
good sign. You say you're losing your mind. People say it's no exaggeration. Was it something I said? Was it something I did? Or was it something from a gray spot in your head? I want a cheese and mushroom omelet. I want a microwave oven. I want to leave a tip after every meal. Does that make me a bad person? What's behind the smile? What's behind the eyes? Something sorry, if anything at all. The counter is sticky. This all seems tricky. Get out of a bogus situation. I wanna stay up all night. I wanna sleep with the light. I want those dishes to be out of here. Does that make me imperfect?
We no longer simply resist the pigs. We no longer trap ourselves so that the only possible motion is in response to pig attacks. We have gone on the offensive. It is we who call the shots now.
If you understand what happened in the Vietnamese War and why the Vietnamese defeated the United States, it makes the possibility and the inevitability of revolution in the United States very clear. The United States government is not invincible. It didn't exist for all time, and it's not going to exist for all time. It's full of weaknesses.
The Days of Rage was an act of political violence. What was your next act?
The next acts were all by the state. I mean, 300 of us were arrested. The conspiracy trial was going on. Bobby Seale was chained and gagged and dragged out of the courtroom. And 3 weeks later, Fred Hampton was murdered and Mark Clyde in Chicago.
Bobby Seale is going through all types of physical and mental torture. But that's all right, because we said even before this happened, and we're going to say it after this, and after I'm locked up, and after everybody's locked up, that you can jail a revolutionary, but you can't jail a revolution. Right. You might run a liberator like Harris Cleave out the country, but you can't run liberation out the country. You might murder a freedom fighter like Bobby Hutton, but you can't murder freedom fighting. And if you do, you come up with answers that don't answer, explanations that don't explain. You come up with conclusions that don't conclude. And you come up with people that you thought should be acting like pigs, just acting like people and moving on pigs. That's what we've got to do. So we're going to see about Bobby, regardless of what these people think we should do. Because school is not important and work is not important. Nothing's more important than stopping fascism, because fascism will stop us all. When we came into the room, started shaking the chair. Said, Chairman, wake up, the pigs are laughing. Still half asleep. I looked up, and I saw bullets coming. It looked like the front of the apartment. When he looked up, he didn't say a word, he didn't move. Just moved his head up. He laid his head back down. He was bad like that. He never said a word, he never got up out the bed. I heard the pig say, he's barely alive, he'll barely make it. I assume they were talking about Chairman Red. Then they started shooting the pig, they started shooting again. I heard the sister scream. They stopped shooting. Pig said, he's good and dead now.
Ted Gold, Terry Robbins, and Diana Alton were 3 very courageous and beautiful comrades, and they exemplified the intensity of the struggle at that point, the fact that people in this country have died for the struggle for freedom, also that people were willing to die, were putting their lives on the line around ending the war in Vietnam.
Diana was a teacher. That's what she was primarily. She was at a lot of different places in Philadelphia, in a remote Indian village, Chichicasanaga, in Guatemala. She was also part of the women's movement. She was a person who knew her own mind. I thought she was a very disciplined person. She also was a very strong-willed person, and she made her decisions about her life thoughtfully and carefully, and she did things with her eyes wide open. They all 3 did, and they had decided at that point in their lives to begin armed struggle in the United States. This was as thoughtful and as careful a decision on their part as any revolutionary ever makes. That's when it becomes a soap opera about their lives. That's what's torn away from it, is the fact that people do make decisions like that and take their destiny into their own hands.
Who chose
subways and walls in the Lower East Side.
The NLF is one.
Oh, yeah. It wasn't the first thing anybody did, and it wasn't out of the blue. So people had become revolutionary slowly, one step at a time, had gone to jail, had done all kinds of other actions before that. It's not mysterious in that sense. It came out of real people's changes in real people's lives.
Every year on March 6th, we stop and remember, because this is of signal importance to us. It marks the beginning for us of a period of being underground and in active combat, and it marks the ending of 3 people's lives who we loved and were intimate with.
One of the errors that I think was made among the people who were there that caused the explosion was that people didn't take their own safety into account enough and didn't see that as an essential part of doing any action or any struggle in this country. And it's falling into a trap that's laid by the state of making people not feel like they're worthy or worthwhile. Each person has the responsibility for taking care, for being careful. They were trying to state their commitment in a total way without being careful, and that was a mistake.
People volunteered to do it. To get past security, they had to carry it in on their body in a certain kind of way. And then, as they were putting it in the place where it was supposed to go, it fell. There was a ledge where the people who did it thought there had been a shelf, and it fell several feet. And when the people who were there realized what had happened and that they were still there, they took a couple of deep breaths and came out. And that evening, members of the organization made calls and alerted the press that this action was going to take place, and then it didn't happen. It didn't go off. The fall had in some way affected it, and there was no explosion. So the organization had a series of quick calls around the country and came up with a plan, which was to take a much smaller device and go back in and put it on top of the one that had been put there the day before, sort of like a little starter motor. The same people went back in again because the people who did it called in and already planned to do it. The second time in was tremendously. So they went back in and they put the little one in, and it worked, and it ignited the big one.
The Weather Underground bombed the Capitol. They bombed the Capitol to bring joy to America, to bring a smile and a wink to all the kids who hate the American government. We didn't do it, but we dug it.
I mean, it's been 5.5 years. We've all been stopped by the police. One time, a policeman commented that my hand was shaking. This was the first time my hand was definitely shaking. And he was really apologetic about it because his consciousness was people hate the cops. And I'm not so bad and don't be afraid. So he apologized to me, I
had an experience I like to tell. Walking down the street at night, about 10 o'clock at night, and by a counter, where you could buy fresh squeezed orange juice. Suddenly, the police cars go screaming up, and 4 cops jumped out with their guns drawn. And then the paddy wagon pulls up, and in I go. And we go about 5 blocks, and the back of the door is thrown open, and somebody's head sticks in and says, "That's not him." And it was I just happened to fit the description of someone who was being looked for an alleged robbery. And so then police offered to drive me home, which of course I didn't.
We have a very strong ethic that fear is an open subject, and that when somebody's afraid in a situation, they have an obligation to say so because it's often real. We assume it's based on a real thing, and we'll figure out later if it was right or not right.
The other thing to say about the fear thing, I think, is that because of the nature of American society, a lot of people wake up that way. The state is around, it's everywhere, and
a lifetime struggle to remake yourself, to take on the awesome task of revolution making. The other thing is class stance. And our class stance as revolutionaries is solidly with the working class.
We came out of the student movement, and we came from the working class and from petty bourgeoisie, and a few people came from the ruling class and left the ruling class background. But the overwhelming reality about who are the people in the United States is that the people work. People work for a living, and they have to work for a living, and it's the only way they can survive. We're a white organization for historical reasons, and we won't always be that way, and certainly the people who make the revolution, the organizations and the forces that make the revolution, will be multiracial and multinational.